Yesterday was National Wedding Planning Day, so if you or someone you know is tying the knot, now's the time to discuss those details. And wedding expert Nora Sheils says you don't have to break the bank to have a beautiful wedding. Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so a bigger budget does not automatically mean a better wedding, right?
Not automatically.
Okay.
If you think back to the favorite weddings you've been to or events that you've been to, you remember those where you had a really great experience, right? Like the flowers were probably fine and the food is probably fine, but you remember kind of that overall feeling.
Yes.
And so that's where your money should go when you plan a wedding.
Okay, so you say like prioritize guest experiences
Yes.
over something else.
Right. So think about, that wedding that you've gone to in the middle of summer and you're sitting there at the ceremony and the sun is beating down on you. That's
Yes.
what you remember about that
Yes.
wedding, not the amazing toast or the dancing. So you really want to set the tone for the whole day, and all those touch points for your guests are things that you should consider when you're planning your wedding. So absolutely, you start with a budget. That's the first step in wedding planning. Before you book anything, you should absolutely set a budget and really try to stick to it, because things can get out of hand pretty quickly.
Yes.
We see a lot of couples that will book a venue before they've really thought about budget, and then such a big portion of their budget has to go towards that. So easy ways to cut back are limiting your guest count. That's the easiest way to cut back on your budget. Fewer people means less food, less rentals. It affects pretty much every piece of the budget. Also time of year or the day of the week, those all affect that final number.
But some place you should splurge, you suggest, is on entertainment.
Yes. So when couples come in, I always ask, about their goals and what they want their guests to say the day after their wedding, how they would describe it. And 9 times out of 10, they want it to be a really fun party. And so part of that is entertainment, investing in a good band or a great DJ, one that will keep the energy up and really bring that fun. And of course, a bar helps as well, and other things. But entertainment is a big piece of the day. And it's just such a shame to go to a wedding and everything is so beautiful, and then the DJ is kind of a dud. Everyone leaves early, and it's an early night, which is the opposite of what you want.
Yeah, we don't want that.
We don't want that.
What do couples regret overspending on?
Many couples will regret the little details they spent money on, like favors. Nobody really takes favors home anymore unless it's edible and they can consume it right there. They all get left behind, and it can be a really big cost for those.
And you also say late night add-ons. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, like many couples will add on late night snacks or bring in a food truck, and I think that's great, and they have a place, but people have already had all these appetizers, a big dinner, dessert, so you don't have to go crazy with all of those add-ons. It's an easy way to shave costs a little bit if you need to.
Good point.
Yeah.
What do couples wish they had spent more on?
This is always photo and video. I think video is the #1 regret I hear from couples. If they're getting down and they haven't booked a video and they want to save costs, that's the first thing they used to cut. And it's really a shame, because to experience your video afterwards, you get to see it from a different perspective. And the day goes by so quickly that it's all kind of a blur. So to be able to have that, and if you're planning on a family, to be able to share it with your future children, what a cool thing for them to experience too. So I'm a big proponent of video.
Okay. What about DIY? Do you suggest doing something yourself to save a little money?
Absolutely not. No, we've all seen those Pinterest fails online, but we've worked with couples before that really wanted to make their invitations, or we had a mother of the bride once that wanted to make the wedding cake, and it either goes south or it ends up costing significantly more in time or in money, and you don't get what you want. So I think this is a place where you can splurge a little bit and get what you want and enjoy the process instead of stressing yourself out so much Flowers is another one. Sometimes people want to make their bouquet or do centerpieces, and that is the last place you should be spending your time the week of the wedding.
Yeah, because you might be having to do things day of anyway, like set the tables and just small things that if you don't have a planner, right?
That's why you need a planner, because you should absolutely not be doing any of those. And you don't have to have a huge budget for a planner either. Obviously, we work with very high-end clients, but we also have smaller packages where you can show up to your day and enjoy it and not worry about the logistics or anything kind of on fire in the background.
Well, that's good to know. If people want to hire you, how
Yes.
can they do that?
You can find us online at bridalbliss.com or look at some of our pretty pictures on Instagram at bridalblissnw.
Yes, lots of pretty pictures. Thanks so much for coming. Always great to see you.
Thanks, you too.